So in one of my prior videos, I discussed a little bit about how in Western civilization, there's sort of a way of looking at the world that we learned through Socrates and Plato and Aristotle, that this idea that you can wrestle with reality by using logic, having a conclusion that is based upon facts and available evidence, and asking the questions, how do you know something? Why do you believe that to be true? What if that wasn't true? What evidence would convince you that this is not true or is true? These are questions that anybody can ask, and everybody is capable of, And our obstacle in America and everywhere else in the world, and this is an ancient story, is not that people aren't capable of thinking through. They all know and can come to these conclusions. It's that at certain points, they decide that their identity, who they are, who they associate with, their tribe, how they want to see themselves, is much more important than being correct about things and knowing what the truth is. And so having that issue and seeing the world that way remains a huge obstacle to us being able to advance as a civilization. And it's not a new story, it's an ancient story. It's exactly the same story of ancient Greece and Rome and the Renaissance and all of these things, is that the good versus evil, the light versus the darkness, the Renaissance, ignorance versus information and knowledge and science and thinking. It's an old story, but in America there's a unique strain of looking at the world. It's a way of being anti-intellectual that makes it cool to come to conclusions without looking at things, because it identifies you with your tribe, and this is not something that I think anybody should really want for their children or for their nation that they care about.